Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're mapping out the rapidly shifting currents of global military power, diplomacy, and conflict as we look at 2025. The geopolitical landscape has completely transformed in just a few short years. Let's dive right into the data and see exactly how soaring defense budgets, evaporating nuclear guardrails, and rising new powers are forging a distinctly different world order. We have to open our analysis in a world facing, quite frankly, unprecedented instability. 60 plus. Just let that sink in for a second. In 2025, the world is witnessing over 60 active armed conflicts. That's actually the highest number ever recorded. Warfare has decisively emerged as the #1 threat to global stability right now, significantly overshadowing those traditional international peace initiatives. And the immediate consequence of all that instability? Well, it's pretty staggering. $2.4 trillion. Driven by rising tensions across Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa, global military expenditure has just completely surged. Nations aren't just buying up hardware for the sake of it. They are rapidly trying to project power in a highly unpredictable environment. This is redirecting massive amounts of global capital away from domestic economies and straight into defense. Okay, let's look at Section 1, Russia's nuclear arsenal. To truly wrap our heads around this landscape of global risk, we absolutely must look at the established heavyweights of hard military power. According to recent estimates, Russia maintains a colossal stockpile of roughly 5,460 nuclear warheads. But, the true story is really in a breakdown here. Beyond the 1,720 deployed strategic warheads that are ready to launch, and another 1,110 in storage, they maintain 1,480 non-strategic or tactical weapons. This massive tactical reserve is a real game changer. These are smaller yield weapons specifically designed for the battlefield, which fundamentally alters their military posture and the immediate threat to neighboring regions. And this immense payload, it relies on a highly modernized nuclear triad, meaning they can strike from land, sea, and air. They deploy around 330 land-based intercontinental ballistic missiles, including the Yars and Sarmat systems. They prowl the oceans with advanced Bore and Delta IV class submarines launching Bulava missiles. And they dominate the skies with a fleet of roughly 60 long-range heavy strategic bombers, like the Tu-95 and Tu-160. It's a comprehensive, inescapable delivery architecture designed for absolute global reach. Moving on to Section 2, shifting doctrines and treaties. Now, the most critical development we need to focus on isn't just the physical military hardware. It's the really alarming shift in the actual rules governing when these weapons might be used. For years, Russian nuclear doctrine basically required a threat to the very existence of the state to trigger a nuclear response against conventional attacks. But a major update in November 2024 significantly lowered that threshold. Now the doctrine authorizes nuclear use in response to massive conventional air and space attacks. Think coordinated drone or cruise missile strikes. That is a historic shift in strategic posturing for sure. And this aggressive new posture comes precisely as the legacy arms control architecture of the 20th century completely unravels. It's like the safety guardrails are falling off. The US withdrew from the INF Treaty back in 2019. Then in 2023, Russia revoked its ratification of the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty and suspended its participation in New START. And with the New START Treaty officially expiring in 2026, the world's major powers will be left without any binding limits on their arsenals for the first time in decades. It really creates a profound sense of global vulnerability. Which brings us to Section 3, the Trump administration effect. As these international treaties fade away, a fundamental shakeup of the rules-based global order is being catalyzed by the returning U.S. administration. The incoming Trump administration's inward-focused foreign policy promises immediate disruptions. For instance, part of their proposed Day One agenda is an ambitious goal to definitively settle the war in Ukraine within 24 hours. A rapid shift like that in U.S. engagement would instantly alter the strategic calculus for NATO, Russia, and frankly, the entire region. But beyond foreign conflicts, the administration is also signaling strict domestic policy changes that have profound international ripple effects. Proposed executive orders regarding immigration, including things like ending birthright citizenship and initiating mass deportations, will severely impact global partners. Nations like India, who have a significant diaspora and tight diplomatic ties tied to immigration, are having to rapidly adjust their diplomatic strategies to prepare for these new frictions. Let's look at Section 4, India's strategic military rise. Amidst all this Russian nuclear posturing and shifting U.S. policies, we're seeing the emergence of a rising power successfully navigating the chaos. increasing its defense budget by 4.2% to focus heavily on operational readiness. India now firmly ranks as the fourth most powerful military in the world on the 2025 Global Firepower Index. They're sitting right behind the US, Russia, and China. This isn't just about raw manpower. It's a very calculated, rapid rise in industrial capability. And India is projecting this growing power precisely where it matters most, vital global choke points. Just recently, India deployed its guided missile destroyer, the INS Mumbai, to the multilateral La Perouse exercise. This is a massive drill led by a French carrier strike group alongside 8 other Indo-Pacific navies, and it's squarely focused on securing the Malacca, Sunda, and Lombok Straits. Securing these waterways is absolutely vital for the global economy, proving India really intends to be a major security provider. Moving to Section 5, the new global chessboard. What makes India's ascent truly fascinating is that it isn't just about military hardware. It's essentially a masterclass in diplomacy on this new global chessboard. They operate under this philosophy of being a Vishwa Bandhu, or a global friend. Consider this incredible balancing act. On one hand, India is driving Western strategic integration by hosting Quad Summit initiatives and deepening vital tech ties with the US, yet simultaneously they maintain crucial Eastern engagement, keeping up discounted Russian oil imports and leading the global South by hosting a summit for 123 different nations. It's the ultimate display of strategic autonomy. Of course, walking this independent path isn't exactly a walk in the park. It definitely has its serious friction points. India has had to navigate severe diplomatic fallout with Canada, and simultaneously, they're dealing with complex neighborhood challenges, like the recent political instability in nearby Bangladesh. Maintaining that kind of strategic autonomy means you're constantly putting out diplomatic fires. So, tying this all together, a really stark 2025 geopolitical reality emerges. Warfare is now the #1 threat to stability. The legacy arms control treaties have essentially expired, nuclear doctrines are expanding, lowering the threshold for conflict, and because of all this, agile, multipolar diplomacy is absolutely essential for survival. The old rules of the 20th century just don't apply anymore. As you consider this incredibly volatile landscape, I want to leave you with one final thought. Moving forward into the rest of this decade, does true global security lie in possessing massive stockpiles of thousands of nuclear warheads? Or does it lie in the strategic autonomy and diplomatic agility required to navigate the chaos and balance all sides? Thanks for joining us for this explainer today. Keep questioning and keep learning.